Present the colors.
Sorry, it's all tangled.
Friends and neighbors, I'm Jessica Floyd, Mayor of the City of Woodbury. I wanted to take this time to thank those that have served and are currently serving our country and protecting us, and to take this time to honor the brave men and women that have paid the ultimate sacrifice. I hope that we as a city and beyond our borders take the time to truly honor and celebrate in a fashion that memorializes our veterans. I also want to thank those that have put this together under such unprecedented circumstances, and hoping that in the near future we can all celebrate together. Thanks to everyone again, and blessings from the City of Woodbury.
Good afternoon, my name is Joe Pegues. I'd like to wish everyone a happy Memorial Day, and in honor of the statue of the victor, which you see behind me, I'd like to read a statement about the armistice that was celebrated on November 11th at 11 a.m. on 1918. And the author of this statement is none other than Winston Churchill. It says, it was a few minutes before the 11th hour of the 11th day on the 11th month. I stood at the window of my room looking up Northumberland Avenue towards Trafalgar Square, waiting for Big Ben to tell that the war was over. My mind strayed across the scarring years to the scene and emotions of the night at the Admiralty when I listened to those same chimes in order to give the signal of war against Germany to our fleets and squadrons across the world. And now, all was over. All the kings and emperors with whom we had warred were in flight or exile. All their armies and fleets were destroyed or subdued. In this, Britain had borne a notable part and done her best from first to last. The minutes passed. And then suddenly, the first stroke of the chime, I looked again at the broad street beneath me. It was deserted. Then, from all sides, men and women came scurrying into the street. Streams of people poured out of the buildings. The bells of London began to clash. Northumberland Avenue was now crowded with people in hundreds, nay, thousands rushing hither and thither in a frantic manner, shouting and screaming with joy. I could see that Trafalgar Square was already swarming. Around me in our very headquarters, in the Hotel Metropole, disorder had broken out. Doors banged, feet clattered down the corridors. Everyone rose from the desk and cast aside pen and paper. All bounds were broken. The tumult grew. It grew like a gale, but from all sides simultaneously. The street was now seething mass of humanity. Flags appeared as if by magic. Streams of men and women flowed from the embankment. They mingled with torrents pouring down the Strand on the way to acclaim the king. Almost before the last stroke of the clock had died away, the strict, war-straightened, regulated streets of London had become a triumphant pandemonium. At any rate, it was clear that no more work would be done that day. Yes, the chains which had held the world were broken. Links of imperative need, links of discipline, links of brute force, links of self-sacrifice, links of terror, links of honor which had held our nation, nay, the greater part of mankind, to grinding toil, to a compulsive cause. Every one had snapped upon a few strokes of the clock. Safety, freedom, peace, home, the dear one back at the fireside, all after 52 months of gaunt distortion, after 52 months of making burdens grievous to be borne and binding them on men's backs. At last, all at once, suddenly and everywhere, the burdens were cast down. Once again, that's a statement by Winston Churchill, recounted by Sir Gilbert Martin in Volume 4 of The World in Torment. I'd like to also read two more statements, and I'd like to personally thank all of our frontline men and women during this very difficult time. The first is by Senator John McCain. It says, "Whatever gains are secured, it is lost that veterans remember most keenly. Only a fool or a fraud sentimentalizes the merciless reality of war." And finally, by President Ronald Reagan in the 1983 radio address to the nation, he said, "Veterans know better than anyone else the price of freedom, for they've suffered the scars of war. We can offer them no better tribute than to protect what they have won for us." I'd like to thank you very much for giving me a chance to speak to you today. And I'd like to wish all of you a healthy and happy Memorial Day. Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. Thanks so much for coming out today on Memorial Day. This is very, very important, I think, for all of us to be here, and I'm glad I have the opportunity to share it with all of you. First of all, can everybody hear the sound of my voice all right? Yeah. Good, terrific. I teach in the classroom right over there, so I'm used to kind of having to shout it out and say what I have to say. If anybody doesn't know me, my name is Joe Pegues. I am a teacher here at Woodbury High School. I've been here for 26 years. I'm also a proud member of the Troop Committee in Troop 7. That's why I'm wearing this outfit, okay? I'm going to start by telling a little personal story about my family's military history. We're going to move on to talking about the history of the memorial. We're going to hear a little music, listen to some spiritual words, and then we're going to finish with the creed. This probably will be the shortest presentation because we're without the aid of electronic amplification of voices. All right. So in June of 1954, my father, Josiah James Pegues, was in residency at the Pennsylvania Hospital, and he was drafted. He had a plan for his life, and his plan radically changed. It was in the shadow of the Korean War. He was engaged to be married to my mother, but things didn't quite work out exactly the way that he would have planned. However, this is not a sad story. This is a happy story. My father saw an opportunity, and he used it as an opportunity to seal the deal with my mom. He said, "Marry me and come to Germany." She went for it, and I'm a byproduct of that. So they lived together, newly married at Shepherd Air Force Base in Wichita Falls, Texas. And between January 1956 and July of 1957, they lived and served together in the Air Force Hospital there, Lucius D. Clay Kaserne in Wiesbaden, Germany. My father died in April of 1986, and his grave is adorned with a flag and an Air Force star. He served with distinction, serving the medical needs of people with neurological disorders, and I'm very proud of my father's service, and I'm going to have an opportunity to bring it up to this crowd here today. Now, if you can follow along in the front of your program, the unveiling ceremony for the memorial of the Doughboy statue, or the victor, which, as we said before, was supposed to be the war to end all wars, but that hasn't quite worked out the way that we think that it has, was unveiled on Memorial Day 1925. R. Tate McKenzie was the sculptor. John F. Arbison was the architect. Paul P. Krett was the consulting architect. But more importantly, within the last 2 years, an Eagle Scout from West Deptford, Alex Snow, was personally responsible for his Eagle project to restore it. Take a look at it. It's absolutely gorgeous. On the back it says, "This memorial to those who served in World War is erected by the popular subscription together with substantial appropriation by City Council. Somewhat more than half of the subscriptions from residents in Woodbury, the balance of city funds together with few subscriptions from interested people living on our border." The movement was started by the women of the city in 1921. We felt that some suitable recognition should be made of our gratitude for those who served. At this point, I'm going to introduce Father Robert Kantz from Holy Angels, and he's going to deliver some remarks and an invocation. Father Kantz.
Almighty God, today we are here to honor those who have served our country and given their lives so that we may stand here and live in freedom. We need to be constantly reminded of our gift of freedom. and of those who gave all to make sure a future and a future and a future that will continue to know life in a free, democratic society. Remembering those who have passed is only half of the task that faces us before us today. We must also carry their love, their honor, their duty forward to the future generations that will pass. Our children must know who they are, what they did, and why they did it. To do anything else would be a disservice, an act of disrespect for those who gave their lives to our nation. Those who are gone created a clear pathway for us to continue on. We must never waver from that path of freedom and democracy. Take their memories, take their dreams, and walk forward. Walk forward, shouldering the cause of freedom. Carry it high and proud. They did, and now you must also do your part. Amen.
Amen.
Now the Holy Angels Choir will entertain us with a beautiful hymn. At the original ceremony in 1925, the benediction was offered by Reverend H.M.B. Dare of the North Baptist Church. Today we're very fortunate to have Pastor McGinnis from the very same North Baptist Church to offer a few remarks. Pastor McGinnis?
Thanks, sir. Great is the Lord and greatly to be praised, and his greatness is unsearchable. Certainly to Scoutmaster Hughes and to Troop 7, who thought it not robbery to get this celebration together. We're just thankful to be in the midst of everyone today. It's an honor and a privilege to celebrate 90 years of this monument that recognizes all of the men and the women that have served this country, have given their lives. And we want to certainly memorialize, but more importantly, to commemorate all that they have done for the freedom and the loyalty of this country. Because for it had not been for those who have sacrificed the ultimate price, which is their very life, that we might have a chance to live in this free country. But at the same token, I always like to say, and even on today in a memorial service, in Luke, the 22nd chapter and the 19th verse, Jesus said to his disciples as they instituted Holy Communion, he said, "This do in remembrance of me." And we do things even today in remembrance of those who have gone on before us. And I'm thankful that we have the opportunity to remember all that has been said and done and to be a part of this. But we need not forget that all that God has done for us in our lives. For if it had not been for him, I don't know where we would be right now. So again, to Scoutmaster Hughes, thank you so much. And may God bless each and every one of you and every family that's represented in this place.
And now, as you've come to expect, the Scouts of Troop 7 will place a wreath on this monument. Okay, now comes the participatory activity. Can I have everyone stand up, please? Refer to the America's Creed here on page 2 of your program. I'm going to say the words. You're going to repeat after me. These words were spoken at the memorial, at the dedication of this memorial in 1925, and I think it's only fitting 90 years later that we speak them again ourselves to remember the sacrifices and the dedication of the soldiers in the Great War made for us at the time. I believe in the United States of America. People, for the people, whose just powers are derived from the consent of the governed, a democracy in a republic, a sovereign nation of many sovereign states, a perfect union, one and inseparable, established upon those principles of freedom, equality, justice, and humanity, for which American patriots sacrificed their lives and fortunes. I therefore believe it is my duty to my country to love it, to support its Constitution, to obey its laws, to respect its flag, and defend it against